So before okay, so what we will do, we'll solve one problem also for the practical purpose, because in the practical we are going to have the practical based on the compression mold design, a product for the compression molding. Okay, but it will not take more than 1 hour. So 1 hour will engage for the lecture first of all, and then we'll solve one problem. Rather, you will solve one problem based on the compression mold design. Okay, so first of all, let's have an lecture. We continue our topic, and then in the second hour we will go for the practical. Okay, so if you will not get my voice or screen in between, just remind me. Okay, so we have started from the last lecture. We have started dealing with the injection mold design, and before that we dealt with the compression mold, and now we have started with the injection mold design. Okay, as I told in the last lecture, a couple of processes we are going to see with respect to this designing point of view. Compression part we have seen, transfer mold we have seen, and now this is a injection mold. Okay, only the processes which are widely used for the different kind of plastic products that we are going to see. Okay, and for rest of the processes, the basic procedure is going to be the similar one. Now for this injection mold design, yesterday we have seen couple of points, or we discussed a couple of points. Out of that, first one was temperature control system, and the second one was injection system. Getting temperature control system and the injection system. Now before going to the actual points, we discussed about the basic mechanism of injection molding also. As I told yesterday, this is a simple feeding mechanism. The raw material is fed into this hooper, which will pass through this barrel. A rotating screw will be there, and spirals are there on the screw. Okay, spiral screw is there. So as it will start rotating, the material will be pushed ahead. Okay, so this red colored material is there, and parallelly there are heating coils. There are heating coils around this barrel, which will heat the material, which will melt the plastic material, and this molten plastic material is passed through this nozzle. Here is the nozzle. It will be passed through this nozzle, and then it will enter into the mold. And this is the mold setup. Okay, this is the mold setup, right? So yesterday we dealt with this injection system, the basic one. The first of all, we have seen the this temperature control system. And in temperature control, I told you that rather than heating, what is the most important is cooling system, because heating cycle is a very small cycle, and once you will set the temperature, heating mechanism will automatically heat the material. Okay, what is important is the cooling mechanism, because the final structure of the product, final finishing of the product, final quality of the product entirely depends on, means every parameter related to the product depends only on this cooling mechanism. Only on cooling mechanism. So temperature control system is mostly dealing with cooling mechanism rather than heating mechanism. Heating mechanism is an automatic mechanism. You set the temperature, start the switches, and automatically it will heat. Close the switch, or just you break the circuit and heating will stop. But cooling will have the effect on the microstructure, so that cooling is important in the control system. Okay, so we discussed in detail about the temperature control system, basically a cooling system, in the last lecture. And then we discussed about the ejection system. I told you the meaning of ejection also. Ejection system in the sense, ejection in the sense, simply meaning is bouncer. Getting bouncer means what? If there is a mold cavity and if this product is there inside this cavity, so removal of the product from the mold cavity. Okay, this removal of the product from mold cavity, this is called as the ejection system. Sometimes you may use pin for this ejection, sleeve, wall, ear, or stripper, whatever it may be, depend on the product. But ejection system means to remove the product safely from the mold cavity. So system employed for that is called as a ejection system. So in that ejection system, there are various types of ejection systems that we discussed. Basically, the first one, pin type, which is mostly used if the product is small. sleeve type, this stepper type sleeve I have shown to you. Okay, this stepper type sleeve. So this kind of sleeve type system is used for the basically when the product is a hollow product. When the product is a hollow product, then this sleeve type system is used. Wall type when there is a large product, ear type large and deep product, and stripper type when there is a very deep product. So basically what kind of ejection system is supposed to use depends on the type of product, whether the product is small or large or deeper, okay, or delicate. Getting it? Okay. So see, if suppose product is going to be used in a maybe electronic component, very delicate product is there. In that case, you cannot use mechanical mechanisms like pin type or sleeve type. Better to go for ear type or wall type. So ultimately, it depends on the kind of product, what should be the ejection system. Okay. So we discussed in detail about the ejection system, and today we have another one point. Next one is the feeding system or the feeding mechanism. Important one, feeding mechanism. Okay, so today we'll discuss about the feeding system required for the injection molding. Okay, now see, we are looking that systems which are important with the point of view of product quality. Ultimately, what is the aim? Product quality should be best. Getting it? Product quality should be best. So whatever possible is there to get this, that is there. Okay, so product quality is the most important parameter. So with respect to that, we are discussing this each and every parameter. Ejection system also we discussed with respect to that. Cooling system also we discussed with respect to that, and now feeding system is also we will discuss with respect to product quality. Okay, now feeding in the sense, you just check the figure. Now if you will check here, here is a one feeding mechanism. Here is one feeding mechanism. Getting it? Okay, this one. This is a hooper, but this is a normal feeding mechanism. Okay, as such there is no any complicated mechanism here in this hooper. Here if you check it, this is called as a hooper, from where we are feeding the raw material. Okay, so this is nothing difficult. It's a simple hooper type shape is there, and we are putting the material inside that. Automatically it will, because of gravity, it will go to the barrel. Okay, and in the barrel also, see, in this barrel the screw is rotating. This kind of screw is there. This screw is rotating and this screw is pushing the material ahead. So here also no any as such difficult mechanism. The actual feeding starts from this nozzle point. Getting? Okay, actual feeding starts from this nozzle point. Before that there is a simple mechanism. So feeding mechanism generally dealt with the mechanism inside this, sorry, from the nozzle to next point. Okay, so we are going to see the details of feeding mechanism from this point ahead. Okay, from the nozzle point, not the before that. Okay, so now if you check the simple, the function of mold feed system, is to make high temperature melt under high pressure to go into mold cavity. Okay, simple mechanism. Feeding mechanism role is that high temperature molten material will be there. That high temperature molten material under high pressure, it is to be carried to cavity. Getting it? Okay, so suppose this is the nozzle and this is the high temperature material, high temperature high pressure material. To carry this high temperature high pressure material to mold cavity, because product will be produced or manufactured, or what we can say, the material is cooled in this mold cavity. So this path from nozzle to entry into mold cavity, this is actually the feeding mechanism. Getting it? Okay, so to carry high temperature high pressure molten material into mold cavity, that will be a feeding mechanism. Okay, so definition looks very simple, but there are too many complicated mechanisms involved in it. Okay, so simple definition: high temperature high pressure material to carry into mold cavity. Okay, to fulfill that. Now let's see some details about this feeding mechanism. The feed system of the mold is section of the melt. Feed section of the mold is section of the melt flowing passage from nozzle. Okay, just keep some words in mind. Nozzle of the ejection system to the cavity. Okay, are you getting? Check the path from nozzle to cavity. Okay, from nozzle to cavity, because before that there is also feeding things, but that is not an important one. This is the important, the passage or the path from nozzle to cavity. Okay, it can be divided into two main types: the cold runner system and hot runner system. Okay, the first one is cold runner system and second one is hot runner system. Getting it? Okay, so there are two basic types, cold one and hot one, for the feeding mechanism. So first of all, first thing, feeding mechanism is considered from nozzle to cavity. Second thing, there are two basic types of feeding mechanism. First one, cold runner type, and second one, hot runner type. Okay, and again this cold runner system is categorized into two different classes: side gate and point gate. Side gate and point gate. Okay, so if we'll check two categories, cold and hot, and this cold is again side gate and point gate. Okay, hot is not having any types. Okay, so two types, cold, hot, and then side gate and point gate. Now basically, see, now this is something related to your manufacturing process that you studied in a manufacturing process: gating system, runner system, sprues. Okay, so that kind of details are there, because these are gating system, runner system is nothing but the feeding mechanism. Okay, so this gating system is composed of main runner, sub branch runner, cold material well, and the gate. Okay, now what is this individually you will see properly. See, runners, runners will be of different types. Runners will be of different types. Will be of different types. The first one is a main runner, sub runner, and again there may be a activity runner. So what is this? See, this is the main runner. A very simple thing, nothing. There will be then sub runners, and then from this there will be an activity runners. Okay, so it depends upon how many number of products you are producing at a time. What is the role? Material will, first of all, will be here in the main runner. It will be distributed equally to these sub runners, and then equally to these activity runners. Okay, and this activity runners will be connected to the product by using gating system. Okay, so here 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, this many number of products can be manufactured. You can manufacture with the main runner also, but what will be their main runner will be connected to the only one product by using gate. Okay, only one product. So if you want more number of product, go for sub runners. Okay, so that is the role of sub runners or the activity runner. So as like casting, the same thing will be here. Right. Okay. So this main runner, sub branch runner, cold material well, and gate. Hot runner system has no main runner, sub branch runner, because see, in case of cold runner system, in case of cold runner system, this mechanism will be there. Sub runners, activity runners. Okay. So there are so many branches are there. In the hot runner, there will be a nozzle. Nozzle will be here also. Nozzle, and directly material is passed through the cavity. Simply, this is the mold cavity, this is the runner. Sorry, this is the nozzle. From the nozzle, material will directly fall into the mold cavity. It will directly fill the mold cavity. Are you getting? There is no any extra mechanism in between. That happens in case of hot nozzle. Okay. So here it is mentioned. the melt passes through manifold plate hot nozzle directly from the gate. Getting it? Okay, so this runner and sprue and nothing will be there. Okay, so this complicated mechanism will be there only in case of the cold runner system. Hot runner simply from nozzle to gate and gate to cavity. Okay, so that's what it will be there. Next things, there are some design parameters are there, or design principles are there, what are required to consider in the feeding mechanism. Okay, so one by one we'll see, though this what content is looking too much, but simply just I have discussed or I have given it in too much details. Okay, so first design aspect or design principle, ensure appearance of quality of product. This is the only point. Rest of the part is a description. Ensure appearance of quality of the product. What happens actually? Suppose this is the product. How the material will enter into the cavity of such kind of product? There will be a gating system. There will be a runners. There will be a sprue, right? So while getting the product out of the mold cavity, so this mechanism should be removed. There should not be any marks on the surface of product, marks of the gate, marks by this screw or another system. Okay, so product should be exclusively product. There should not be extra marks. That's what discussed here. Any gate will leave traces on the surface of product, because gate is going to be directly connected with the product. Any gate will leave traces on the product, so thus it will affect the surface quality. Okay, so what is the option? So if suppose this is your product and this is the visible surface, this is the visible surface, and if this is the invisible surface, this is the invisible surface, try to attach gate from this side. Are you getting? So though there will be marks of the gate on this surface, it will not be visible at the front. Okay, so try to do that. So that is the first case, so that quality of the product can be maintained properly. That's what explained here. In order to not affect the appearance of the product, design should try to set the gate. Design should try to set the gate in the invisible part of product. Okay, maybe back side of the product, back face of the product. Okay, which is not visible. And if it is possible, the gate should be easily removed. Getting it? Okay, ultimately traces should not be there. Traces should not be there. Okay, on the surface of the that particular product. Okay, so the first important issue will be ensure the appearance of quality of product. Second, ensure the quality of the product. This is a different kind. Okay, though the point looks same, but discussions are different. The style and the quantity of the gate should be reasonable, which need to ensure the plastic melt quickly fill the cavity and the pressure and heat losses are reduced. Okay, so what happens? See here, this quality remark is with respect to different parameter. What happens if suppose a very small product, this kind of, okay, this kind of product, and for this kind of product, if you have provided a large size screw runner and gating system, will not be required. Getting it will ultimately create a mark on the surface, and in the contrary, product is of this size, very large size, and you have provided this passage of material or gating system and runner system very small size. What will happen? Size of the product is too large, and opening or passage for flow of material is so small, so it will take so much time to have to fulfill this entire cavity. So what will happen? The material which will fall at the first, this will shrink with different cooling rate. Which will fall later, this will shrink with different cooling rate. So layers will be there. Layers will be there. Okay, different cooling rate, residual stresses, deformation, uneven shrinkage. Okay, so these are possible. These problems are possible. So that product quality should be taken into consideration with respect to size of this runner, shape, or gate. Okay, that is what mentioned here. Style and quantity of gate should be reasonable. Okay, so if product is too large, if you can provide more number of gates. Getting it? Okay, if required. Okay, so that can be done to avoid the this kind of problems, which need ensure that plastic melt quickly fill the cavity. Quickly fill the cavity. That is important. What I am telling, gate should quickly fill the cavity. Otherwise, if you will take the more time, obviously cycle time will required will be more, production rate will be lesser. But apart from that, you will get a different shrinkage rate, a different cooling rate throughout the component. Okay, that is the problem. So which will cause shrinkage mark, residual stresses, deformation, uneven shrinkage. Okay, or maybe crack generation will also happen. Okay, so these many internal issues will happen. Getting it? Okay, so that there should be, we have to ensure the product quality with respect to these pointers also. Okay, so these are the some of the pointers. Then next one, the gate system should be able to smoothly guide the molten plastic to fill the cavity. Okay, that means what? See, this gating system, as I discussed earlier also, should not be so small, should not be so large. Getting it? What will happen? See, either there is a loss of temperature and loss of pressure, this may possible, or trapping of air or trapping of bubble, this can be also possible. Okay, so ensure that gating system is designed properly. Gating system is designed properly. Okay, this is entirely with respect to gating and runner system. Gate and runner systems are arranged balanced possibly. Balanced possibly means what? 1, 2, 3, 4. Getting it? Okay, so if there is many number of products you are manufacturing at a time, so this is for one, this is for second, third, fourth. Okay, and you are filling this all four runners with only one single this passage. Okay, so possibility that there will not be proper control over the flow of the material. So here what you can do, this two will be managed by different, this two will be managed by different one. Okay, so even distribution of material, and here you can attach one more. Here even distribution of material is possible, even cooling rate is possible, even shrinkage rate is possible. Okay, so this is called as balancing, proper balancing. Okay, as per the need of, as per the number of products, there should be a proper balancing. Melt plastic can be evenly filled in the each cavity. Getting it? Okay, it should not happen that, flow rate is less here, flow rate is more here, flow rate is different here, flow rate is different here. Okay, because then product removal time will be also different. Shrinkage rate of each cavity is uniform. Getting? Okay, so these points are required to understand. Minimum flow resistance. Okay, product is here and the material from nozzle is here. Suppose nozzle is here and material is taking this much long path to pass to the product or mold cavity. What will happen while it is traveling from this much longer runners and sprues? It will lose the heat, it will lose the temperature, it will lose the pressure. Okay, so because of that, a less heated material will be entering the cavity. Shrinkage problem. Okay, so try to avoid longer paths, okay, the traveling distance should be as small as possible. Heat loss and pressure loss. Okay, that is called as the minimum flow resistance. Flow path of the melt plastic should be as short as possible. Okay, turning should be reduced. Turning means what? One section is here, immediately this, again this, and here is the product. What will happen while crossing these corners? Obviously corner should not be there, but while crossing this corner, mostly pressure drop happens here. Because of resistance, pressure drop happens here. Okay, so avoid longer paths and avoid turning points. Okay, that's what mentioned here. Turning should be reduced as short as possible. Okay, the appropriate cross sectional area should be small. This what I told in the last also, the sprue and runner size should not be so large. What will happen? Material will be stored here unnecessarily. Wastage of material. Small sprue, small runner size material will flow easily. You will get the flow rate also properly. But when cooling will start, material can possibly settle inside this passage. Okay. To avoid that, cross-sectional area should be small. That's what mentioned here. The small runner reduces proportion of waste material. Okay, wastage in the cavities. The circular melt can fill cavity in the shortest time. And same thing, if the temperature of the pressure loss of melt in the flow channel are small. Okay, same thing. What happens if I want to generalize this point? Heat pressure loss should be minimum. Heat and pressure loss should be minimum. For that, reduce the cross-sectional area, reduce the length, reduce the turning points. Okay, keep the uniform cross-sectional areas. These are the main issues that are required to consider in the feeding mechanism. Okay, normal points are there. It should not affect the automatic production if the mold is designed for the automatic production system. Okay, suppose these many number of products we are manufacturing at a time. This is one passage, this is another passage, this is another sprue and gating system. Okay, and this flow management feeding mechanism, this removal mechanism, this product removal mechanism by using ejection system. If ejection system is automatic and if so many number of gates and sprues are there, how to remove it automatically? This will provide resistance, this will provide resistance, this will provide resistance. Okay, first of all we have to remove this, and then we can remove the product. Okay, so extra, see, unnecessary arrangement of this sprue and runner will make a problem with automatic handling of this operation. Okay, so this automation part we discussed in the in the fourth chapter. Okay, so this unnecessary arrangement of runner sprue gating system will interfere with the automation of the mold. Okay, so that is the one point. Okay, so generalized points are here also. At the end we have generalized this type of gating system. Okay, so prefer to have proper gating system with side gates. There should be a proper filling process. Okay, try to have without runner and determine adoption of mold basis. Design of the gate, dimension and location of the main runner, design of the branch runner, and design of the assistant runner. Okay, see, don't get confused with the main runner, branch runner, assistant runner. Nothing. Main runner, branch runner, and again assistant runners. Are you getting? This is simply a branching process. One product here, another product here, another product here, another product here, 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 here. Okay, so main runner, branch runner which is providing to the branch, and these are assistant runners or activity runners. Okay, so this is what. So entirely, if we are to summarize in a single line, that there should be a proper gating system. There should be a proper gating system to have the proper mechanism. Okay, so here I think I have mentioned. Look at here. This is the central sprue. Okay, now see, this is different branch, main runner. This is a branch runner. Are you getting? This is the main runner. This is the branch runner. If more products will be there below this, then we require the activity runner or the sub runners. Getting it? Okay, so this is the cold sludge well. Cold sludge well. Okay, this point was remaining. Cold sludge well means what? Impurities or cold material will be stored at the bottom. Are you getting? This is below the runner, so this will not be shifted to the product. Okay, here also one example is there, sprue and different kind of. Okay, so we have one good video. It will explain entire feeding system. Okay, in a 4 to 5 minutes you will understand everything. Just a minute. Okay, first of all, let's see the overview of this feeding mechanism, and then specifically we'll see the feeding part. Okay, this is the simply ejection mechanism. This is simply raw material feeding mechanism. Getting a barrel is there, and this is the rod, spiral rod. See, this is how it is mechanism. And this red colored things are heating system. Heating system. This red colored part. Are you getting here? Runner and getting system. Look at here. This is the nozzle. This is the nozzle here. Okay. Now see another one. Here you will get the clear cut idea. Just see it carefully. See here, it is explained very nicely. Right, okay, so got the things, because this video is explaining very nicely. Everything is explained very properly. Okay, so we'll stop at this point. And now what we will do, see, maybe in the last lecture of the fourth chapter, we discussed about the problem based on the compression mold design. Getting okay? So even one lecture we invested for the formulation of the compression mold, and in the second lecture we discussed, or we solved one problem also. Okay. So now in the practical part, we are having the third practical, that is for the compression mold design for the compression mold type product. Getting it? Okay. So there is one question from, I think, 2017 or 18 question paper. So that question I'll drop it to you, and I will share both the PPTs, one PPT with the question that you have to solve, and another PPT where I have explained entire formulation required to solve the problem and the problem solved. Okay, so that PPT, both PPTs I will share. Refer the first one PPT where I have solved the problem, where I have discussed the entire details of the compression mold design,